Vincent Barber during that time, this time. And also like to offer up congratulations on the 34 UGA athletes in the Olympics. I know my wife has been tuned in and watching a lot of the Olympic events. There's been a lot of UGA athletes involved in that, so it's been awesome to have. Other than that, we're ready to roll. Sleepy today? What's going on? You like our players?
Kirby, who out there is really like just being enforcers on both sides of the ball?
You missed it. Who out there's doing what?
Just being tough and knocking heads out there the most. Any names stick out?
I'll be honest with you. In the last 24 hours, we've had 2 practices, and I wouldn't say anybody stuck out. You know, we had a nice, cool practice. You guys were out there last night, right? So it was nice, cool practice, good tempo, a little bit easier. And then today, it was back hot, and they were back dragging. And anytime you got that, it's frustrating as a coach because you want to see leaders arise and leaders kind of take over the practice. And I really felt like there's a lot of guys trying to get through the day today. And we can't have that to get where we want to go. So we kind of issued a challenge before practice because school starts tomorrow. So there's a little change in demeanor. They're out of camp. And for me, it's way too early to be out of camp. So we got to continue to push these guys and get a lot out of them, even though school is starting.
Was Jake limited at all yesterday? Was Jake limited at all yesterday?
No. You guys, I think Claude's going to revoke privileges for the guys that write all these stories. Jacob didn't go to the training room before practice like he usually does, so he didn't have his normal routine. So when we got off the bus, he had to go over and get loosened up a little bit and get some stuff done. But he did the same thing he does every day. So.
I was going to ask you, are you going to scrimmage Saturday, and what's the nature of that scrimmage? And like, did Nick and does Nick go to the ground now and things like that?
Well, to be honest with you, we're going to have a scrimmage. The format is based on how practice goes Thursday and Friday and what we need to do defensively, offensively, from a special team standpoint. We got some things we got to knock out on both sides of the ball before Saturday. But we will have a scrimmage. To what extent we do it, to what extent Nick Chubb goes, I'm not sure of that just yet. We're going to make that decision closer to scrimmage time.
Do you have a plan on him and Sony in terms of testing them, hitting to the ground, participation going forward?
Yeah, I mean, both of them have a plan of action. Now, Nick's plan is a little different than Sony's because he's ahead of Sony. So Sony's big thing right now is conditioning and rehabbing and trying to improve his overall ability to sustain through practice. Where Nick is doing everything we've done. Nick's been to the ground in several drills we've had out there, so that's not a major concern of mine. So we'll have a certain number of reps we want Nick to get Saturday, and whatever that number is, we'll determine on Friday.
You are where you want to be about 10 days into it right now, or do you feel like you're
I'm
a little
never
bit
where I
behind?
want to be. I really believe that. I mean, we've got a long way to go, and we've got a lot of improving to do. Now, I'll say this, the kids have gotten better. There's a lot more competitive atmosphere out there. Guys are picking things up now that installs have been cut down, less installation and more practice. So you're seeing some of the younger kids have a aha moment where they kind of figure it out. And I think that's important for them to gain some confidence because we're going to need some of those guys.
Do you change anything in terms of the rotation of quarterbacks on Saturday, or is it pretty much the same?
No, we'll have a plan going in of each guy getting some reps with each group. And we've kind of had that every day. So it's going to be the same thing to see how they respond to a little bit more of a game day type atmosphere.
I guess the better way to ask it is, has anybody earned themselves more?
No, I don't think they have. And we look at that each day. We look at the statistics. We look at the numbers. We look at the decision making because there's a lot that goes into it of did they make the right decision and did they complete it? You know, some guy may make the wrong decision, make a great throw, but there's a lot more goes into that than just statistics. So we're looking at both those things, and you know, Saturday's going to be a big indicator of who's going to continue to get more reps after that, and we'll have to wait and see.
Jim Chaney talked to us the other day and talked about his confidence that while Sam Pittman's here, he knows that the offensive line will be well coached and you guys are going to have good players. Have you seen that group grow, you know, thus far into camp, and you know, how do you feel about the guys that are kind of getting the most reps there?
Well, we're trying to establish some depth. The good thing about the O-line, we got 3 guys who played significant roles last year. So with those guys having significant roles, that's a good experience, good piece to have back. But You know, offensive line everywhere I've been is a puzzle, and you're trying to piece it together to figure out, if I move this part, does it make the whole better? And, you know, I think Sam does that as good as anybody. He establishes confidence in the players. They have confidence in him as a teacher. And that unit's starting to gel. It's really important that they do so that we can be successful and run the ball. But he's done a great job with them. I think he and Chaney have a great relationship where they know what each other wants.
Is Catalina falling behind some in the left tackle competition there?
What would make you say that? From the time you're there?
Yeah.
I mean, are you counting reps? Are you going off who goes where? I don't know what would make
Pretty
you say
limited
that.
window we get.
Right, so why would you say that?
That's why I'm asking you.
Oh, okay, well, no, he hasn't. So,
Kirby, didn't see Tim Kimbrough out there today while we were there. Is anything up in
now
Memphis?
Tim's got a little leave of absence right now, so that's all. I can't really comment other than that.
What about Isaiah McKenzie? He was wearing a black jersey today.
Yeah, he took a pretty good shot last night and had a little shoulder bruise. We just wanted to keep contact off of him. He's one of the pound for pound strongest guys on the team, so he's really explosive, and he gets beat up a little bit. At times he plays so physical, and he's got a little shoulder bump, but he's fine. He'll be out there.
Were you guys able to get Natrez and Daquan back to full today?
No, neither one of those guys are back full day to day with those guys. They're getting cardio, they're getting work, they're learning their assignments, but they're not able to take full speed reps.
Coach, how some of the tight ends look? You know, Jeb kind of coaching up some of the younger guys, and Isaiah, you know, he's got great hands. You got to work with him a little bit more in the pocket scheme. How's some of those guys come along?
Who's Isaiah? Who'd you say? Isaiah?
Oh, sorry, Isaac.
Isaac. Yeah, I'll be honest, those guys are doing a good job competing. There's some really tough competition there, and we're trying to use each one's strengths. You know, both Isaac and Charlie have done a tremendous job coming in, picking up a system and competing. They don't look at it like they're freshmen. Both those guys go out there and compete, and they really do a good job in the special teams game. Jackson Harris as well, probably one of our better blockers. So that's a good unit on our team as long as they continue to get better.
Kirby, two freshmen I want to ask you about. Tyreek McGee, how's he developing on both as a corner and on special teams? And Chancey Manak, how's he coming along, you know, getting after the passer?
You know, Tyreek's a very bright kid. He's learned our system really well. He's really explosive, and he's another really strong guy for his size. And he's been hampered a little bit, and he's one of the toughest freshmen I've ever been around because he's had a little bit of a growing hamstring and never says a word. Takes every rep, competes, but he's not at full speed, and it's hurt him at corner. That's one of those hard injuries to get over in camp because you're logging so many yards. So it's been tough for him, but I can tell he's going to be a good player. Really pleased with him. And then Chauncey's the same way. He's a tough, competitive guy. He's swimming a little bit right now. His head's swimming from the defensive aspect. We got a lot of multiples for that kid because he's a DN sometimes. He's an outside backer sometimes, but you know he's got good toughness and he plays hard, so we'll have a chance.
Kirby, what have you learned about Marshall Long so far and his ability to help you guys?
Yeah, Marshall's an interesting guy. You know, he's hit some really good punts and bombs, and then he's hit something that worked so great. He's got to speed up his operation, and I think he's working hard on that. And I think the more that we get to see Marshall, and the more we do punters, we haven't done them every day. So the practices we've been out, I've been pleased with. But he's had a little bit of a sore leg. You know, he didn't get in here as early as the rest of the freshmen. He's been battling a little bit of a growing injury, so he's not been 100%. And Bryce has continued to play as well.
How's Jonathan handled being back with the team?
You know, he's done well. He is not full-time back with the team. He's got some things he's still handling, and we're still helping him with, and that's a work in progress. So part of the agreement with him coming back to practice was that he had to continue to do a lot of things, and he's still doing that.
So that's indicative of how much progress he's made with his other to get back.
Well, again, he's not back all the way.
Yeah, well, what he do?
He wasn't out there today, was he?
No.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's got some things he's got to do first, and that's obviously the most important thing for him.
Kirby, Coach Chaney was a real hit with all of us. Did you know, first of all, did he have that kind of sense of humor? And you like the fact that he's obviously serious about his job, but doesn't really take himself serious?
Yeah, I think he's got a great personality. You know, I didn't know Chaney like that, so I knew his reputation as a play caller because I've gone against him. And I remember when I flew up to do the interview, it was a pretty interesting deal because he was fun to be around, you know, and he's great camaraderie on the staff. He makes sure guys laugh. I'd always heard that from Derek, that he was a little bit that way. And, but yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed him. He enjoyed getting to walk out and not having to see y'all again for 6 months.
Any chance we'll get-
Contrary to your opinion, he
Any
enjoys
chance
my
we'll get
policy.
Coach Pittman?
Huh?
Any chance we'll get?
Not right now. He doesn't have the personality to change, let me say that.
What about another guy on your staff, James Coley? You know, obviously he's got a lot of experience coaching quarterbacks and being coordinating offense, and now he's concentrating on receivers. What does he bring to the staff overall?
Well, first of all, I've known James for a long time. The year I went to LSU, he came as a GA, a graduate assistant. We were kind of on the staff at the same time. I enjoyed being around him. He ran the scout team when I was at LSU coaching defense, and man, he had a lot of energy and passion, and the kids responded to him. He was a really good recruiter. He was around Jimbo for a long time. He was at the Miami Dolphins when I was there. So I had a chance to be around him and see his energy and passion. Not only is he a great recruiter, but the kids just enjoy him, and got a great personality. And I think anytime you have a staff, you're always looking to see who the next coordinator is, or who the next play caller, or when you're doing 2-spot drills, you want somebody who can work with quarterbacks in 2 places. And he's developed some really good quarterbacks and been called some really good games, you know, like Miami and Florida State. So I think that was an important, integral part to our staff, because he brings good recruiting ties, and he also has really good experience coaching multiple positions.
2 more questions. Will you do outreach in the university community for like these next few weeks, or are you just totally focused on football and out of camp? So
Define
talking
outreach.
with whoever it may be, professors or fraternities or whoever.
Yeah, I don't really have any of that scheduled. I am doing a speaking engagement for the incoming freshmen today, but we're in a pretty tight schedule ourselves here. It's, you know, we've got every 8 minute we have spared to watch tape, get ready, and we only have our players for a small window because of classes. So that part is scheduled out mostly, but no, I don't think I'm doing right now is talking to the freshman group.
You excited about your first day of school tomorrow?
Well, I won't be going to school. I think the players are excited to get back and kind of get a new routine, because for so long they've been doing kind of a stay in the hotel routine. So they're ready to get back to the going to classes and seeing all students.
When
Thank you,
did
guys.
they move out, Kirby? Today or
Today,
when?
check out today.
Thank you.
Thank you.